While walking the dog in the evening, my silly dog got its head stuck in a stone carving hole in the park. In desperation, I dialed 119. The fire captain who came turned out to be my ex-boyfriend, who said I was naive when we broke up, but is now so handsome that people and gods are outraged. When the rescue was over, he stopped me and said with a businesslike expression, "Madam, please prove that this dog is yours." I looked at his cold face, took a deep breath, and shouted his name to the dog. The whole place was dead silent. Chapter 1. I, Soon Yen, am 24 years old and facing the second largest social crisis in my life. The first one is that Jiang Qidi and I broke up 3 years ago. The reason was that I wanted to pursue a postdoctoral degree at Harvard. In fact, I wanted to go home and take the street exam. And now, the protagonist of the second major crisis is still related to him. I looked at the furry dog head stuck in the mouth of the stone dragon in the park and fell into deep thought. My dog's first name is Jiang Qi, and his nickname is Ergu. Yes, that's Jiang Qi. When we broke up, I cried so much that I bought a Shiba Inu in order to get over the emotional pain. My friend asked me what I would name the dog, and I said fiercely, just call it Jiang Qi. I will scold him every day, make him pick up bowls for me, and make him pee like a puppy. My friend was silent for a long time and gave me a thumbs up. Sister, you are cruel enough. So, this Shiba Inu took my ex-boyfriend's name and dominated my house for 3 years. This evening, as usual, I took Jiang Qi, oh no, the 2 dogs out for a walk. It saw a fat squirrel and swooped out. I didn't even hold on to the rope. When I chased after him, I saw the scene. The squirrel disappeared, and Erga's head was accurately stuck in the mouth of the stone dragon. It was in a dilemma, leaving only a round butt facing me, and its tail wagging like a propeller. Jiang, Erga, come out here. I was sweating profusely. It whined twice and twisted its butt even more, obviously unable to get out. I tried pushing its butt, pulling its hind legs, and even held a ham sausage in front of its nose to tempt it. It's no use. It was stuck hard. More and more uncles and aunties were watching, and they all gave me advice. Girl, try applying some oil. Oh, this dog has a big head and looks smart at first glance. Why does he do such a stupid thing? How about smash it? I looked at the majestic stone carvings and swallowed. If it is smashed, I may have to sweep floors in the park to pay off debts for the rest of my life. After struggling for half an hour, Erga started to groan, sounding pitiful. My heart skipped a beat, and I took out my phone. There is no other way. I can only turn to the almighty firefighter uncle for help. When I dialed 119, my hands were shaking. Hello, is this the fire brigade? I want to call the police. No, help. My dog, his head is stuck. There was silence on the other end of the phone for a full 5 seconds before a voice with suppressed laughter came. Address. Chapter 2. 15 minutes later, accompanied by a loud siren, a red fire truck roared over and stopped at the entrance of the park. During the battle, those who didn't know thought the park was on fire. The number of onlookers doubled in an instant, with 3 floors inside and 3 floors outside, surrounding me and the dog head. I couldn't wait to find a crack in the ground and crawl into it. In order to save a dog head, I alarmed the entire fire brigade. I felt like a waste of social resources. The door opened and several tall firefighters in blue uniforms jumped out. The one at the head is particularly tall. He was wearing a helmet and a mask with only a pair of eyes exposed, which were deep and sharp. He strode forward and the crowd automatically parted a path for him. That aura is 2.8 meters tall. He walked up to me, looked down at the stuck dog head, and then looked up at me. The sound was a little muffled through the mask, but still clear. Did you call the police? I nodded wildly, like a garlic mortar. Yes, I was so nervous that I couldn't speak clearly. He seemed to sigh slightly and took off his mask. Then, a face so handsome that people wanted to call the police on the spot was exposed to the air. He has sharp eyebrows and starry eyes, a high bridge of nose, and thin lips that are pressed into a hard line. Time seemed to stand still at this moment. My brain just shut down. Jiang Qi. It was my ex-boyfriend who I dumped 3 years ago, Jiang Qi. Why is he here? Shouldn't he be his domineering president in his splendid office building, signing tens of billions of contracts? Why did you come to be a firefighter, and personally went to the police to save a dog head? I froze in place, my mouth wide enough to fit an egg in. Jiang Qi's brows wrinkled almost imperceptibly. His eyes stayed on my face for 2 seconds. His eyes were calm, as if he was looking at a stranger. Soon Yen. He spoke with a hint of uncertainty in his tone. I almost knelt down on the spot. Brother, don't recognize me, please. You have recognized the wrong person. I struggled desperately and shook my head like a rattle. A young firefighter behind him looked over and asked curiously, Captain, do you know him? Team leader? Jiang Qi is now the captain? Jiang Qi ignored him and just stared at me, his eyes a little more scrutinizing. Really? He said calmly. He looks quite like an old friend of mine. Deceased. What an old friend. My heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys all twitched when I heard it. He stopped looking at me and squatted down to check the condition of the 2 dogs professionally. Don't be afraid. I'll rescue you right away. He stretched out his hand and gently patted Ergo's butt. The two dogs seemed to have sensed something and actually stopped whining and wagged their tails in cooperation. Watching the scene, I felt as complicated as a bowl of spicy hot pot. Ex-boyfriend, comforting the dog named after him. This world is really fantasy. Chapter 3. Jiangqi and his team members began to study rescue plans. They brought various tools, measured and struck. Throughout the entire process, Jiangqi acted extremely professional and calm. He directed the team members with a low voice, but with great power. Shaoli, get the hydraulic expander. Watch the angle and don't hurt it. People around you, please step back and keep a safe distance. I folded my arms and huddled in the crowd, trying to reduce my presence. But Jiangqi's face was so recognizable that the aunties watching had already started whispering. This firefighter guy is so handsome. Yeah, she's prettier than the star on TV. Look at that girl. Is she the one for him? I think the young man always looks at her. When I heard this, my scalp exploded. Auntie, which eye of yours sees him looking at me all the time. He never gave me a straight look from the beginning to the end, okay? The rescue process went smoothly. They used professional tools to carefully make a small opening in the stone sculpture. With a soft click sound, Urga's huge head was finally free. It came out of the dragon's mouth, shook the ashes on its body, and jumped towards me alive and kicking. Woof, woof, woof. The audience burst into thunderous applause. Rescued. Good job, firefighters. I quickly hugged the second dog, rubbed and kissed it, and checked whether it was injured. Fortunately, the neck area is just a little red, nothing serious. I hugged the dog and was about to take advantage of the chaos and sneak away. A hand blocked my way. As soon as I looked up, I met Jiangqi's dark eyes. Wait a minute, he said. My heart skipped a beat. What does he want to do? Settle accounts after the fall? Do you think I was responsible for cheating on him back then? Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll send a pennant to your team another day. I forced out a smile that was uglier than crying, trying to get through. The players behind him laughed. Girl, we have accepted your wishes, and there is no need for the pennant. Yeah, this is what we should do. Jiangqi was unmoved. His expression remained serious. Mississippi. He suddenly changed his title, polite and distant. According to regulations, we need to verify your identity and ask you to prove that this dog is yours. Chapter 4. Prove? How can I prove it? My mind went blank. Do you want a dog license? I asked weakly. Okay. Jiangqi nodded. My heart went cold. I have my dog license at home. Who would take that thing with me when I got out to walk my dog? I didn't bring my dog license. I whispered. What about other ways of proof? For example, purchase records, or photos that can prove your relationship. He continued to ask, looking businesslike and impartial. I'm about to cry. Where can I find purchase records for him? That was 3 years ago. I do have photos, all on my phone. But the name I saved for it in my phone is Jiangqi. If I were to dig out a photo album called Jiangqi on my phone in front of him, it would be full of dog head photos. I could be admitted directly to a mental hospital today. The fire of gossip among the onlookers was burning brightly again. What's going on? Isn't this girl a dog owner? You're not a dog thief, are you? It doesn't look like that. I think that dog is quite close to her. Jiangqi's team members also looked at each other, wondering which song their captain was singing. Only I know. He was just messing with me. He definitely did it on purpose. He must have recognized me a long time ago, and now he is using this excuse to see me embarrassed. How come this man's mind is smaller than the tip of a needle? I was holding the two dogs and was sweating profusely. Urga seemed to sense my embarrassment, stretched out his tongue and licked my face, making a woo-woo sound in his throat. Jiangqi just looked at me without saying a word, with a hint of emotion in his eyes that I couldn't understand. Is it a mockery? Still watching a good show. My self-esteem was aroused to its peak at this moment. Isn't it proof? Okay. You forced me. My heart pounded, my teeth gritted, and I put the two dogs in my arms on the ground. Then, I cleared my throat, took a deep breath, and channeled enough energy into my dantian. Under the gaze of hundreds of people in the park, under the gaze of Jiangqi and all his team members, I raised my throat and used all my strength to shout out the name that had been buried in my heart for 3 years. Jiangqi. The voice was loud and resounded through the sky. Even the wild ducks in the park lake were so frightened that they flopped their wings and flew up. The whole place fell into dead silence for an instant. Everyone seemed to have been pressed on the pause button, staring at me dumbfounded. Jiangqi's body visibly stiffened. For the first time, cracks appeared on his face that had been frozen for thousands of years. Pupil, an 8-magnitude earthquake occurred. And the Shiba Inu, which was droopy just now, seemed to have its soul injected into it the moment it heard the name. It let out a ouch, raised its head suddenly, and its 2 ears stood up with a swish. Then, it waggled its tail, like a fired cannonball, rushed to my feet, rubbed its head against my legs desperately, and made a cheerful woof sound in its mouth. That look is as dog-legged as possible. Silence. Deathly silence. About 10 seconds later, someone in the crowd burst out laughing first. Immediately afterwards, the burst of laughter was like a torrent and a tsunami, drowning me in an instant. Ha 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 ha. Oh my god, this dog's name is Jiangqi. You have the same name as that firefighter guy. Huh. This girl is a talent. What kind of love-hate drama is this? I stood in the center of the whirlpool of laughter and felt all the blood in my body rushing to the top of my head. My face is so hot that I can fry an egg. I'm done. I have never been so embarrassed in my life. I slowly raised my head and looked at Jiangqi. His face could no longer be described using a color palette. Green for a while, white for a while, red for a while, black for a while. The group of firefighters behind him were all suppressing laughter until their faces turned red. They shrugged their shoulders. Some even turned around and pretended to look at the scenery. I saw the young team member who asked Jiangqi if he knew me before, holding the stone sculpture, trembling with laughter, and almost pulled over. Jiangqi's lips moved, as if he wanted to say something. But in the end, he didn't say a word. He just looked at me with an extremely complicated look. There was shock, surprise, shame, and anger in his eyes, and a hint of grievance. Did I see it wrong? He actually feels aggrieved? Chapter 5. Can you prove that it is my dog now? I asked in a voice like a mosquito's hum, under great pressure. Jiangqi's Adam's apple rolled up and down. He squeezed out a few words through his teeth. Yes, yes. As if I had been granted amnesty, I quickly picked up Jiangqi on the ground, turned around, and wanted to run away. If I stay any longer, I'm afraid I will evaporate on the spot. Stop. Jiangqi's cold voice came from behind. My feet felt like they were nailed to the ground, and I couldn't move any further. I turned around stiffly and gave an awkward smile. Captain Zheng, is there anything else? He walked towards me step by step. Every step feels like stepping on my heart. He walked up to me, and his tall figure completely enveloped me. I could even smell the faint smell of fireworks and sweat on him. Sun Yan. He called my name, his voice low and hoarse. We need to talk. Talk? What to talk about? Tell me why I named my dog Jiangqi. I hugged the dog and backed away. No, I don't think we have anything to talk about. Thank you for today's matter. The medical expenses. Oh no, how much is the rescue fee? I'll forward it to you. Do you think this is about money? His eyes became colder. What if? I said bravely. Captain Zheng, if you feel that I have insulted you, I apologize. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have named the dog after you. I will take it home and change its name now to Li Qi, Wang Qi, Zhao Qi, whatever it is. After I finished speaking, I saw Jiangqi's face darken again. The team members behind him had changed from suppressing laughter to snickering openly. Sun Yan. He almost shouted my name through gritted teeth. Come here. As he said that, he reached out and grabbed my wrist. His palm was very hot and very strong, and I couldn't get away at all. What are you doing? Let me go. In broad daylight, firefighters robbed civilian girls. I started talking nonsense. Shut up, he growled. I was stunned by his roar and was instantly frightened. He pulled me and the dog and dragged me to the fire truck in front of hundreds of people watching the show. His team members dispersed in a very eye-catching manner and even helped us clear the place thoughtfully. Tell me. He pressed me against the fire truck door and looked at me condescendingly. Why? Why? I pretended to be confused, pretending to understand. The dog's name. Just, it sounds good to me. My eyes wandered. Sounds good. Jiangqi sneered. Sun Yan, do you think I'm a fool? I don't. You said 3 years ago that you were going to Harvard to study for a PhD, but what happened? He pressed forward step by step. I saw your photo on the honor list of outstanding employees at the neighborhood office 2 months ago. It's over. Everything has been exposed. I was speechless. What else do you know? I also know that you went to the pet store and bought a Shiba Inu the day after we broke up. He stared into my eyes and said word by word. I also know that you named it Jiangqi. I was shocked. How did you know? Your friend was drunk and posted this on Moments. He said expressionlessly. My vision went dark. My resentful bestie. I'll break up with her when I get back. So, Jiangqi squeezed my wrist a little harder. Sun Yan, do you have lingering feelings for me? When he asked this question, there was a hint of expectation in his eyes. I looked at his impossibly handsome face and remembered how angry he was just now, and suddenly I wasn't afraid anymore. An evil fire emerged from the bottom of my heart. Still lingering feelings? I'll leave you with lingering feelings. I cleared my throat, raised my head, met his eyes, and showed a sweet and innocent smile. Captain Zheng, you may have misunderstood. I named it Jiangqi, not because I still love you, but because I think it's the same as you. Jiangqi's eyes lit up. Same? I nodded and smiled even brighter. Yeah, just as stupid and doggy. The moment the words fell, I clearly saw that the light in Jiangqi's eyes went out with a swish. Chapter 6. I thought Jiangqi would be furious and strangle me to death on the spot. But he didn't. He just stared at me, his chest heaving violently, as if he was about to have a myocardial infarction with anger. After a while, he squeezed out a sentence through his teeth. Sun Yan, you are really good. After saying that, he suddenly let go of my hand, turned around, and got on the fire truck. Close the team. After he gave the order, the team members immediately put away their tools and quickly got in the car. The fire truck started and drove away with the blaring siren. My dog and I were left alone, messy in the evening breeze. I hugged the two dogs and let out a long sigh of relief. Finally, this god of plague was sent away. But I don't know why, but my heart feels empty. Watching the fire truck go away, I suddenly felt a little regretful. Wasn't what I just said too harsh? Forget it, just be heavy. Anyway, it's been 3 years since they broke up, so he can think whatever he wants. I took my two dogs with me and fled the park in despair under the complicated eyes of the melon-eating crowd. On the way home, I was still confused. Why did Jiang become a firefighter? Doesn't his family run a company? His parents are the only son, and they won't let him inherit the family business. How can they let him do such a dangerous job? Also, how could he know so much about me? Has he been secretly paying attention to me these past 3 years? One question after another popped up in my mind like bubbles. When I got home, I collapsed on the sofa, feeling like my body had been hollowed out. The second dog, Jiang's original dog, was holding my slippers and chewing them with relish. I looked at it and got very angry. It's all your fault. You troublemaker. I was embarrassed and sent to my grandma's house today. Ergu raised his head, tilted his head, and looked at me innocently. Woof. I was amused by its stupidity, and the depression in my heart also dissipated a lot. I took out my phone and wanted to scroll through my circle of friends to divert my attention. As soon as I opened WeChat, I saw dozens of messages from my best friend Li Mengmeng. Fuck. Nian Nian. You are on trending searches. Look at our local hot search list. Hashtag the most hardcore proof in history. I called my dog by my ex-boyfriend's name, hashtag. This is followed by a series of video links. My hand shook, and my phone almost dropped to the ground. Trembling, I clicked on a link. The video was quite clear. It was the scene where I called Jiang affectionately in the park, and then the two of them ran over. The comments below the video have exploded. What kind of fairy tale is this? Even TV dramas would not dare to act like this. Looking for the psychological shadow area of the ex-boyfriend. I declare that this is the funniest video I have seen this year, bar none. That firefighter guy is so handsome. Has anyone figured out who he is? Someone immediately replied below. It was revealed. It's Jiang, the captain of the Qingxi Fire Squadron. He is handsome and has strong business ability, but he is too aloof and cold. I didn't expect that he would still have such a past. Others posted photos of Jiang and news reports about him saving people. In the photo, he is wearing uniform with firm eyebrows and extremely handsome. Completion. Now everyone in the city knew that I, Su Nian, named the dog Jiang and even called it out in front of me. My vision went dark and I almost fainted. This time the society is not dead. This was a public execution broadcast live around the world. Chapter 7. In the next few days, my life was worse than death. I dare not go out, look at my phone, or even walk my dog. I'm afraid that as soon as I go out, someone will point at my nose and say, look, it's that woman, the one who named the dog Jiang. Li Mengmeng called me every day, laughing so hard on the other end of the phone. Nian Nian, you're now a celebrity in our city. I heard that the Qingxi Firefighting Squadron has become a check-in spot for internet celebrities. Many little girls run to the door every day just to take a look at Jiang. Someone also created a super chat for you too, called Sooner or Later. You have to read it. There are tens of thousands of CP fans. I felt like dying after hearing this. Can you stop laughing? I yelled at her. I want to escape from the earth overnight. No, Li Mengmeng said. I think this is a good opportunity. You see, Jiang must be deeply impressed by you now. If you still like him, you can take this opportunity to get back together. Getting back together? I sneered. Do you think it's possible? It would be nice if he doesn't crush me to ashes now. That's not necessarily true. Li Mengmeng's tone suddenly became mysterious. I heard that he had difficulties in breaking up with you. What's the reason? I don't know the specifics. I just heard from a friend of mine who works in the fire brigade. He said that Jiang has been single in the past few years. It's useless for anyone to chase him. It seems that there is always someone in his heart. My heart skipped a beat uncontrollably. Will it be me? As soon as this idea came up, I killed it. Impossible. When he broke up, he said so absolutely. He said that I was naive, ignorant, and not from the same world as him. What he needs is a mature and steady wife who can help him in his career, not a little girl like me who only gets into trouble. Just as I was thinking about it, my phone suddenly rang. It's an unknown number. I hesitated for a moment, then took it. Hello, how are you? Su Nian. A cold and familiar voice came from the other end of the phone. It's Jiang. My heartbeat accelerated instantly. How did you know my phone number? If you want to know, there is always a way. He said calmly, come out and meet me. I don't want it. I refused subconsciously. Downstairs in your house, the cafe. He didn't give me a chance to refuse. I'll wait for you. After saying that, he hung up the phone. I was stunned when I heard the busy signal on my phone. How does he know where I live? Why did he come to me? Are you here to settle accounts? I struggled at home for half an hour. To go or not to go? If you go, you might be humiliated by him. If I don't go, it will make me feel guilty. Finally, I gritted my teeth and decided to go. Extending one's head is a sword, and shrinking one's head is also a sword. I want to see what he wants to do. I changed my clothes, put on simple makeup, and went downstairs slowly. In the cafe, Jiangqi was already sitting by the window. He was not wearing a uniform today, only a simple black t-shirt, which made him look even more impressive, with broad shoulders and long legs, and an incredible figure. He had a cup of coffee in front of him, and was looking down at his phone. The sunlight shone on him through the glass window, giving him a golden halo. I have to admit that this man is so handsome no matter when you look at him. I took a deep breath, walked over, and sat down opposite him. He raised his head, and his eyes fell on my face. Coming. Yeah. I nodded, not daring to look into his eyes. What to drink? No, I'll leave right away. I said, Captain Jiang, if you have any questions for me, just tell me. He looked at me and was silent for a few seconds. First, don't call me Captain Jiang. What's that called? What was it called before, and what is it called now? I felt a little TCP in my heart. In the past, I always called him Jiangqi, or Chi. Second, he continued, change the dog's name. Why? I exploded when I heard it. It has been called this name for 3 years, and has long been used to it. Besides, it is my freedom to name my dog whatever I want. Sun Yen, his voice deepened. Why do you have to confront me like this? I'm not arguing. I'm just stating the facts, I said, squeezing my neck. Okay, he nodded and seemed to laugh angrily. Then let's talk about the third thing. What? Why did you lie to me back then? He stared into my eyes and asked word for word. Why did you say you were going to Harvard, but ended up going back home? Chapter 8. My heart sank suddenly. This question was like a knife, inserted precisely into the place where I least wanted to be touched. I lowered my eyes and twirled my fingers, not knowing how to answer. No reason, I shrugged, pretending to be relaxed. I just don't want to go. There's no better home abroad. Sun Yen, look into my eyes. Jiangqi's voice contained a hint of unquestionable command. I bit my lip and slowly raised my head. His eyes were like 2 sharp swords, trying to penetrate my whole being. Did something happen to you? He asked, with a hint of unnoticeable nervousness in his voice. My eyes suddenly turned red. 3 years ago, the reason why I gave up going abroad and broke up with him was not because I didn't want to go. It was because my dad's company went bankrupt at that time. Overnight, the family was heavily in debt. My father was so anxious that his hair turned gray overnight, and my mother cried every day. How could I still take my family's money with peace of mind and go abroad to pursue my dreams? It's even more impossible for me to tell Jiangqi about this. His family background is superior, and he is the proud son of heaven. And I went from a carefree little princess to a down and out rich man heavily in debt. The gap between us is too big. I don't want him to see me in such a mess, and I don't want him to help me pay off my debt out of sympathy or responsibility. Therefore, I could only choose to push him away in the most hurtful way. I said that I wanted to pursue a broader world, and that he could not give me the future I wanted. I said we are not from the same world. Every sentence is heartbreaking. I remember his red eyes and the look of disbelief on his face. I know I broke his heart, but I have no other choice. I have never told anyone these things, including Li Mengmeng. This is the biggest secret and scar in my heart. But now, Jiangqi uncovered it so easily. My tears could no longer hold back and fell down drop by drop. No, I choked and denied firmly. Nothing happened to me. Jiangqi, it's been so long. Why do you still come here to ask these questions? Because I want to know the truth. He said, in the past 3 years, I have not thought about this issue even a day. The truth is, I don't love you anymore. I'm tired of it, okay? I almost yelled. After I finished speaking, I saw Jiangqi's eyes slowly turning red. He looked at me with pain and disappointment in his eyes. Sun Yen, he said in a hoarse voice, do you have to hurt me like this to be willing to do it? My heart felt like it was being held tightly by an invisible hand, and it hurt so much that I almost couldn't breathe. At this moment, the door of the cafe was pushed open. A young girl in fashionable clothes walked in. When she saw us, her eyes lit up and she walked straight towards us. Achi, she called Jiangqi's name affectionately, then sat down next to him naturally and held his arm. I've been looking for you for a long time, and you are here. I looked at the girl and was stunned. She is very beautiful, with exquisite makeup and wearing brand names that I can't name. The way she looked at Jiangqi was full of admiration and possessiveness. But Jiangqi did not push her away. He just frowned and said in a somewhat impatient tone, why are you here? I miss you. The girl coquettishly leaned her head on his shoulder. Who is this? She looked me up and down with critical eyes as if she had just discovered me. Oh, a friend. Jiangqi said calmly. Friend. It turns out that in his heart, I am already just a friend. Also, now that he has such a beautiful girlfriend, how can he still miss me, his ex-girlfriend? Everything that happened just now was just my own selfishness. I feel like a clown. I stood up abruptly and wiped away my tears. I'm sorry to disturb you. I forced out a smile that was uglier than crying. I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. After saying that, I rushed out of the cafe as if I was running away. I didn't look back. I was afraid that if I looked back, I would see the pictures of their handsome and beautiful women that hurt my eyes. It turns out that he has no lingering feelings for me. He just wasn't willing to give in. He was unwilling to be dumped by me like that, so he came to see me today wanting an answer and an explanation for himself. Now he has a new beginning, and it's time for me to let go completely. Chapter 9. I returned home in despair, threw myself on the bed, and covered my head with a quilt. Tears flowed silently, soaking the pillow. I thought I had given up long ago. But when I saw him today and heard him asking me those questions, I realized that I had never given up at all. I still love him. Love to the core. But so what? There are 3 years between us, a poor family, and a beautiful new girlfriend. We can never go back. Ergus seemed to sense my sadness. He jumped on the bed, put his head on my quilt, and made a woohoo sound in his throat. I lifted the quilt, hugged it, buried my face in its warm fur, and cried loudly. Jiangqi, you bastard. I hate you. I was tired from crying and fell asleep in a daze. In my sleep, all the scenes were of me and Jiangqi being together before. He took me to the amusement park and rode the merry-go-round with me. He sweated on the basketball court, and I cheered for him off the court. He carried me on his back through the long streets and said he would carry me for the rest of his life. He said so many love words and made so many promises. But in the end, I pushed him away with my own hands. The next day, I was woken up by Li Mingming's phone call. Nian Nian, something big happened, she shouted at the other end. Don't bother me even if the sky falls, I said weakly. It's not the sky that's falling, it's Jiangqi's house that's falling. What? I suddenly woke up. Look at Weibo. That woman yesterday is not Jiangqi's girlfriend at all. Li Mingming's tone was as excited as if she had won the lottery. She is the daughter of Jiangqi's sponsor of the fire brigade. She has been chasing Jiangqi and stalking her. She found it by herself yesterday. Moreover, someone photographed Jiangqi pushing her away on the spot after he left and warning her not to bother him again in the future. The most important thing is, Jiangqi, he personally posted a clarification on Weibo. I opened Weibo in a hurry. Sure enough, the #1 hot search was Jinghao Zhang Qi clarification hashtag. I clicked in and saw the first and only Weibo posted by Jiangqi in 3 years. Single, don't disturb me. There is someone in my heart who has been waiting for 3 years. At Su Nian. Later, I also liked my outdated Weibo account. My brain buzzed and went blank. What is he talking about? Is there someone in your heart? 3 years of waiting? Ate me? Is this confessing to me? My heart felt like it was on a roller coaster, going up and down, almost jumping out of my throat. With trembling hands, I clicked on the comment. The comment section has gone crazy. Ah, what a beautiful love this is. The CP I was talking about is true. Waiting for 3 years. My God, Captain Zhang is so affectionate. At Su Nian come out. Your man is confessing his love to you. So the name of the dog is not because of hate, but because of love? My tears are worthless. Get back together quickly. I'll move the Civil Affairs Bureau here for you. I looked at those comments and cried and laughed like a fool. It turns out that he doesn't have a girlfriend. It turns out that he has always had me in his heart. It turns out that in the past 3 years, he, like me, has not given up. Then, why did he? I suddenly remembered what Li Mingming said. He said that he became a firefighter for his own reasons. Could it be related to his family affairs? Just as I was thinking about it, my phone rang again. Still Jiangqi. I took a deep breath and answered the phone. Weibo, did you see it? His voice was a little nervous. So, he paused, his voice a little hoarse. Su Nian, are you willing to give me another chance? Before you answer, I want to tell you something. 3 years ago, shortly after I broke up with you, something happened to my dad's company. He was framed and almost went to jail. In order to save the company and find out the truth, I could only give up everything temporarily and choose the path that would make me grow and become stronger the fastest. I joined the army and later transferred to the fire brigade, because only here can I sharpen my will the fastest and become a man who can truly protect you. I'm sorry, Nian Nian. I didn't know about your family back then, and I said so many hurtful words. I always thought that I was not good enough, and that I let you down. In the past 3 years, there hasn't been a day when I haven't regretted it. If I had been more mature and brave at that time, wouldn't I have lost you? As I listened to his voice on the other end of the phone, my tears were like broken beads, and I couldn't stop them. It turns out that he has been through so much. It turns out that we are all protecting each other silently in our own way. Jiangqi, I choked and called his name, you fool. Yes, I am a fool. He laughed lowly on the other end. So, are you willing to forgive this fool and come back to me? Before I could answer, I heard a burst of noise from the other end of the phone. Captain, hurry. The Shijiao chemical plant exploded. Level 1 police alert. Jiangqi's voice instantly became serious. I know. Let's go now. Nian Nian, wait for me to come back. He hurriedly dropped these words and hung up the phone. I listened to the busy signal on my phone, and my heart suddenly rose to my throat. Chemical plant explosion. How dangerous would that be? I dare not think about it. I can only pray in my heart over and over again. Jiangqi, you must come back safely. I'm waiting for you. Chapter 10. The waiting time is so long and painful. I stayed in front of the TV, watching the news rolling reports about the chemical plant explosion. Soaring flames, billowing smoke, and constant explosions. Every scene is like a knife piercing my heart. I know that Jiangqi is in that sea of fire. He and his comrades are fighting death with their lives. I called his number over and over, but no one answered. I sent him WeChat messages and sent hundreds of messages. Jiangqi, how are you? Can you please reply to me when you see the message? You must pay attention to safety. I forgive you. I am willing to come back to you. Please come back quickly. However, all the news came to nothing. Time passed by minute, from day to night. I didn't eat anything or drink a sip of water. I just stared at the TV and my phone for fear of missing any news about him. Li Mengmeng rushed over, hugged me, and cried with me. Yan Yan, don't be afraid. Jiangqi has his own destiny, and he will be fine. I nodded, but I couldn't stop the tears. I'm so scared. I'm really scared. I'm afraid that as soon as I find him, I will lose him forever. It wasn't until the next morning that I finally saw him on the news. He was carried out of the fire by his comrades. His face and body were covered in black ash, and his uniform had several holes. He closed his eyes, fell into a coma, and was rushed to an ambulance. The news host said that while trying to save a trapped worker, he was knocked down by the blast and inhaled a large amount of toxic gas. My world, at this moment, completely collapsed. I rushed out of the house like crazy and took a taxi to the hospital. I waited at the door of the emergency room for a full 6 hours. Those 6 hours were longer than 6 years. When the lights in the emergency room finally went out and the doctor came out, my legs gave out. Doctor, how is he? I rushed forward and grabbed the doctor's arm, my voice trembling. The doctor took off his mask and showed a tired smile. Don't worry, my life is out of danger. It's just that the inhalation injury is a bit serious and I need to be observed in the intensive care unit for a few days. When I heard the sentence, my tense nerves finally relaxed. My vision went dark and I fell backwards. Fortunately, Li Mengmeng helped me in time. I was in the corridor of the hospital, looking at Jiangqi lying on the hospital bed through the thick glass. His body was covered with various tubes, and his face was covered with an oxygen mask. His face was as pale as a piece of paper. My heart hurts so much that it's about to break. It's all my fault. If only I had told him the truth earlier. If only I had returned to him earlier. Wouldn't he be so desperate? I lay on the glass, tears streaming down my face. Jiangqi, wake up quickly, okay? When you wake up, I will marry you. I will give you a bunch of children and name them all Jiangqi. Maybe my prayers had an effect. 3 days later, Jiangqi woke up. He was transferred from the intensive care unit to the general ward. When I opened the door to the ward, he was leaning on the bedside and looking out the window. Hearing the sound, he turned his head. When he saw me, his eyes lit up and a weak smile formed on his lips. You're here. His voice became hoarse from inhaling the smoke. I couldn't bear it any longer, rushed over, threw myself into his arms, and cried loudly. You scared me to death. Do you know? You bastard. I beat his chest, but I didn't dare to use any force. He let me hit him, just stroking my hair gently with his hands. I'm sorry, he said, for worrying you. I cried for a long time before slowly calming down. I raised my head and looked at his pale face, feeling extremely distressed. Jiangqi, I held his face and looked seriously into his eyes. Let's make up. He was stunned for a moment, and then his eyes turned red. He stretched out his hand and hugged me tightly, as if he wanted to rub me into his bones and blood. Okay, he said in my ear with a hoarse voice. Yan Yan, this time I will never let you go. Chapter 11. Jiangqi stayed in the hospital for a month. During this month, I guarded him every step of the way. I fed him, wiped his body, and listened to him talk about everything that had happened in the past 3 years. It turned out that his father's company had been taken back by him a long time ago. The bad guy who framed his father also got the punishment he deserved. He could have returned to the company and continued to be his rich second generation. But he chose to stay in the fire brigade. He said that wearing this uniform made him feel like an upright man. He said that every time he saved someone from danger, he felt that his life had a different meaning. I looked at the twinkling light in his eyes when he talked about work, and I knew that the man I fell in love with was such a flesh and blood, affectionate and righteous man. His comrades often came to see him. Every time we come, they inevitably make fun of us. Captain, you have finally brought your sister-in-law back. Sister-in-law, you don't know that our captain has been living like an ascetic for the past 3 years. The screensaver on his mobile phone is all your photo. Yes, he also secretly follows your moments. Every time you post a post, he will study it for a long time. I listened, feeling both sweet and sour in my heart. I turned to look at Jiangqi. He was looking away sheepishly, and the tips of his ears were red. It turns out that this man, who is cold and ascetic in front of outsiders, has done so many stupid things for me where I can't see him. A month later, Jiangqi was discharged from the hospital. On the day I was discharged from the hospital, the sun was just right. He held my hand and walked on the avenue of the hospital. Nian Yen, he suddenly stopped and looked at me. When I get well, let's get married. I was stunned. So fast. I'm sorry, he squeezed my hand. I've been waiting for you for 3 years, and I don't want to wait any longer. I looked at his serious eyes, smiled, and nodded. Good. Our reconciliation caused an uproar on the internet. CP fans who are Jinghaobi read hashtag sooner or later are celebrating together, just like the Chinese New Year. Everyone left messages on our Weibo to wish us well. Of course, some people are curious about what happened to the dog named Jiangqi. Speaking of this, I get angry. Ever since Jiangqi moved into my house, Ergu completely rebelled. It clings to Jiangqi every day, following me wherever I go, completely treating me as a transparent person. Jiangqi fed it, and it ate better than anyone else. I feed it, and it smells it and then goes away. Jiangqi took it out to play, and it followed him wagging its tail. I called it, and it pretended not to hear. The most annoying thing is that it now only responds to Jiangqi called